Alrighty, my friends, welcome. Here we are. It's not a great frame, Matthew. Welcome. Here we are. What's today's date? 18th of May, not April. 18th of May. I'm stuck on saying April instead of May. It's 18th of May here in New Zealand. It's 9 a.m. on a Wednesday morning. It's time for Chat with Matt, here to talk about whatever you guys might want to talk about, whatever you might want to know. I do have a question written in ahead of time, but I have completely forgotten it. I'm just trying to open my laptop. I'm not trying to, I am opening my computer here so that I can talk to it. How you guys going? A couple of days after our full moon lunar eclipse, starting to tail off a little bit in the energy. It's about 40 hours ago, I think it was. I said taking a deep breath. It was pretty intense. A lot of people seem to be really experiencing a heightening and intensification of their insecurities, which is awesome, right? Awesomely not comfortable, quite an emotional experience, but nonetheless a good opportunity for transformation to occur. So that's good, and we progress. Like with all things, these full moon lunar eclipses, pivotal points, eclipse season, awesome portals of time and opportunity, but the real work gets done consistently, always, right? I quite often say consistency beats intensity every day of the week. You're much better off doing, your breathing consistently through the day than dedicating a set chunk of time just once a day. As an example, based on how much benefit you get per, time invested, consistency is always much more efficient way of producing transformation, hey Sister Jess, than just sort of dedicating a set amount of time and going gung-ho into it and then completely letting it go afterwards. So similarly with these sort of astrological events, hey Sister Jill, hey Brother Brad, with these astrological events, or numerological events, or whatever they might be, these portals of time, religious holidays, etc. Great, let's utilize them as best we can, but don't allow them to be more important than they are, right? Don't pin all of your hopes on some, high energy moment of time, but rather really dedicate yourself to ongoing practice, because that's honestly that's where the real progress is made, always. And if you're doing your ongoing practice, then you can actually utilize the moments, the intense moments, much more effectively than sort of just pinning your hopes on these on these high energy moments to quote unquote fix you. Right, to create, you can just basically be lazy for the rest of the year, and then you go to church on Christmas and everything's good. It's all good. I'm going to heaven. I went to church at Christmas. That mentality, or Easter, or both, right? Not particularly. That was an analogy. Anyway, here we are. Hey, Sister Christine is here as well. So I'm just trying to find the thing. Here it is. Beauty is a blessing. So I'm working this month with the topic of beauty in our Transformation and Empowerment Support community. I like that photo that's just out the front here with our Buddha relief and the lilies that were in flower. That was taken quite a few years ago at Christmas. Anyway, Margaret wrote in, physical reactions to all of the light codes, energy coming in, and any solutions that would be beneficial. Thanks. Yeah. So it is very normal to have quote-unquote ascension symptoms, our physical body responding in ways that doesn't feel comfortable or quote-unquote normal to upgraded or more high-frequency vibration than we are habituated to, comfortable with. So lots of different frequencies coming in. You can call them light codes if you like. It doesn't, it sounds fancy, but at the end of the day, it's just the vibration. It's just the vibration. Everything's light and everything is code in a way. frequency carries information. That's, my voice is a frequency. It's carrying information. It's decoded. Christina said, I like to call it an energetic soup. Yeah, so all of this energetic soup that's coming in, how do we deal with the discomfort that we may be feeling in our physical bodies? That can include things like headache, very common, nausea, very common, different stomach digestive upset, very common, joint pain, very common, tingling, hands and feet, and different sensations in the body, achy or tired, fatigue is very, very common. Mental anxiety is very common. Depression is also very common. There's lots of things that are a very common way that your body might indicate that it is receiving energy that is out of normality. Ringing in the ears, tinnitus-like symptomology, vision issues. For me, itchy eyes, that sort of a little bit like hay fever, but it's kind of a bit different. But different vision abnormalities, if you like, seeing sparkles, seeing, things that also could indicate that you're having a stroke or having a retina detach or a migraine's coming. All of these different symptomologies that could mean something could also just be energy, the way your body is dealing with the energy or experiencing the energy. Dealing with sounds like it's getting fixed. There's nothing to fix, that's the point. So first and foremost is not to freak out when you're having those symptomologies, and also be mindful that it could mean that there is an issue in your body that could benefit from medical intervention. So I'm not saying if you're having any symptoms, heart palpitations is another big one that comes in with the energy, and it could mean that you have a problem. This is the point. Disturbing dreams is another one. Thank you, Stephanie. Disturbing dreams and broken sleep, insufficient sleep or light sleep, or ineffective sleep is another big one. When the energies are high, I tend to get an appropriate amount of bedtime rest, but get up in the morning still feeling quite fatigued, like I didn't sleep very well. Potentially because I was on A level working quite a lot energetically through the night, unbeknownst to me consciously. Very common when the energies are high. So what do we do about all of this? One is not to freak out. Two is to be sensible, and if you do feel that you should, it would serve you to get a medical opinion, then do so, but do so in an empowered way, right? Don't throw yourself at the doctor expecting him to fix you, because if you give them enough power, they will find a reason for why you are the way you are, and it might not be the right one. And it might not be beneficial for you to go through the treatment plan that they prescribe as well. So allopathic medicine and naturopathic medicine and good herbalists, acupuncturists, etc., have some fantastic diagnostic tools at their disposal, and we can utilize those from time to time. But we just have to be a little bit careful that we don't buy into a story that's not actually the truth. So ultimately, it's about trusting what you know inside of yourself, and that is hard at first because the doubts that arise can be quite influential as we're going through this process. So a lot of self-doubt is also part of ascension, because as our vibration lifts, we basically push out a lot of the density, darkness, discordance. A lot of PTSD is also an ascension symptom. A lot of, as I said, depression and anxiety, etc., and fears and doubts arising is also part of this whole ascension process, if you like. Christina said, I find it's very important to use self-healing at those moments. We can all self-heal with energy, and spend that time with ourselves is helpful. Yeah, holding positive intent, basically, that's all self-healing is, and giving yourself and your body time and space to recalibrate and regenerate, to normalize. Yeah, and processes that help that, which is what we're about to move into, things like deep conscious breathing, right? Choosing to take some breaths. And yeah, if you want to lay your hands on yourself and consciously send energy to the parts of your body that are feeling discordant, then that can also be helpful. If you want to do a meditative process where you see yourself coming back into homeostasis, that can also be helpful. Lots of ways where we hold the positive intent to move through the discomfort that we're feeling. What also, though, is important, I feel, when doing self-healing or holding those intentions is not to get too contracted around needing to see improvement to prove that you're doing it right and that you are powerful. Because sometimes the symptomology is not ready to shift, because the symptomology is actually part of the solution. Right? It's part of the purification. And while you might not be enjoying it, and you might think that you should be able to heal yourself from the discomfort, getting rid of the discomfort in any which way may not be for your highest and best benefit. And so for me, it's always beneficial to allow myself to go through whatever process is most beneficial for myself, and understand that intellectually, I don't know what that beneficial process is and what that looks like and what symptomology is appropriate for me to feel and to what degree it is actually beneficial for me to feel that. So when I'm doing quote unquote self-healing or a meditation or using any technique or indeed allopathic care, right? If I take a couple of Panadol because the headache has got, to a point where I feel that might be the best course of action, then I have to be an allowance of whatever the outcome is of that, right? And if things get better, then great. And if they don't, then perfect. And my best pathway through the experience is to be in acceptance that whatever experience I'm having is for my highest and best good. So now the point is, when I say I'm in acceptance of whatever I'm experiencing is for my highest and best good, but just because I've got a headache doesn't mean that I should do nothing about it because this headache is for my highest and best good. I'm allowed to, right? It might be beneficial for me to use whatever to help alleviate that headache, which could be putting some peppermint oil on my temples. It might be taking a hot shower. It might be going for a walk. It might be taking a couple of paracetamol. Whatever it is that I choose to do, I'm doing it out from a loving intent, not from a fear-based lack mentality that I have to fix this headache because this headache is wrong. It's because I know that I have an opportunity to use some remedies to help me alleviate the discomfort that I'm in. And if that doesn't work, and if I don't alleviate the discomfort, then so be it. It's not a big deal. I do have some more ideas that I'm going to share with you in a minute. Okay, Sister Jill wrote, your description of the Taurus-Scorpio interaction yesterday morning, that was during the light language call, the free call that I did at the eclipse time, makes me think you've got CCTV on my life at the, I think that's going to say at the moment. At the moment. Once again, authority figures are such like being very, very challenging in my life about proposed house move. But remembering the info from a couple of months ago, I have dug deep and found resilience from somewhere, and I have been standing up to them all, but not in a reactionary way. It sounds awesome, but in a calm, peaceful way. Thank you. By the way, I'm having disturbed sleep patterns and headaches like when I was a child, craving crappy food though. I'm trying to stay focused on being and not caught up in the doing. Awesome, awesome. So trusting the revisiting of symptomology from childhood disturbance, coping mechanisms when we were a child is also very normal right now, because we are moving through this, as you said, this Scorpio-Taurus axis moment is really triggering a lot of our insecurities, a lot of what we have, a lot of what we have clung to give us an external sense of security to make up for our internal lack of security. And so that is very common, I've found, to myself, also visiting childhood coping mechanisms and narratives and stories about my place in the world, my security in the world, my sense of belonging and my ability to be appreciated and accepted by the world. coming up, revisiting that stuff, and much of which sort of gets repressed as we use other things to make up for this insecurity type vibration. So all of that is really really appropriate for right now. So don't make that wrong, and also choose to do what you're doing, which is to stay as neutral as possible, to stay as empowered as possible, and to rise to the challenges without getting stressed. Awesome. Christina said, be kind to ourselves, I feel, is what you were saying. Yeah, that is pretty high on the agenda, right? And that is really what finding acceptance is all about. Finding acceptance is not about surrendering to what is from a hopeless space that I can't do anything about it, so it's just going to stay this way. It's about accepting that what is, and that I can do things about it, but I'm not necessarily going to see the improvement that I desire, at least not straight away. And so not trying too hard to fix things, and also not being complacent in not doing things to potentially improve things, but working in a more balanced, empowered way with whatever symptomology is presenting at this time, trusting that it is presenting for a good reason, and that you have options or opportunities to potentially move through it more quickly, more gracefully, more comfortably, but maybe not, right? So we can try things and then not feel disappointed or hard on ourselves. We don't feel like a failure if we don't actually improve the symptomology, right? We don't actually improve it. Other things that you can do that I find really valuable to helping with quote-unquote ascension symptoms as our bodies respond to the higher vibrations coming in. One is to always stay well hydrated with good quality water and mineralize your body. That might mean just putting a little bit of good quality sea salt in your water, just a little bit, to help bring some more minerals in, or you might need something a little bit more than that, especially if you're quite deficient in some of the prominent ones like magnesium, etc. Be willing to look into that, feel into that, whether you would serve you to get some good quality mineral type supplementation in your diet, or at least improve your diet so that you are getting a better array of minerals, because that will help energy move through your body more effectively and more comfortably, right? Our bodies are a conductor. Pure water does not conduct electricity. Salt water conducts electricity really well. When we are more mineralized, everything flows well. A lot of information flows through our body through this process of mineral fluids, right? In the fascia of the body, there's all sorts of processes for information to move, but it requires us to have a good balance of mineralization. Having magnesium baths is another beneficial thing to do, etc. Saltwater bathing. Getting in the ocean is one of the best things you can do if you have that available to you. Walking barefoot on the earth is another really good thing. Getting in water as well as hydrating yourself. So if you don't have the option to get in large bodies of natural water like lakes and oceans and rivers, etc., then at least take frequent showers. When you're feeling discordant, one of the best things you can do, one of the best first aid things you can do when you're feeling upset, is go and take a shower. It doesn't have to be a long one, doesn't need to be a luxurious one. Sometimes it's just a matter of getting under the water and just letting that wash you clean. And if you are intentional with what is happening under the water too, that adds an extra layer of benefit to it. So stay hydrated, use water appropriately. Like I'm doing a lot of, I got the spa pool, what you Americans would call a jacuzzi, quite cheaply a few months ago, and that's up and running and doing really well for us. And I've also now got a big black tub full of cold water that we plunge into as well, which is also awesome, right? So doing some cold water therapy to really help immune system and mental systems, right? Really help the body develop resilience to the world and remind yourself that you're alive and awake. Has been really beneficial, and we're getting the kids into it too, which is so far looking hopeful as helpful for them. Hey, Sister Mary. So yeah, use water well, use nature well, forest bathe, sunbathe, use the sun, use nature basically. So get out in the sun, get out in the water, get out in the forest, get close to big trees, etc. Get your shoes off and get your feet on the ground, like on the grass and the dirt. Get your hands in the earth. Interact with the biome of the world, right? With nature, with the energies and also the bacterium, the microbiology of the world. Get your hands in the dirt. Really, really beneficial. Yeah, Christina said also chlorophyll can be very helpful. I know Judy Satori was always, and she probably still is, very big on using chlorophyll to help. So all of the green juices, whether it's liquid chlorophyll as an extract or whether it's barley grass powder or whether it's just juicing up some greens or indeed just eating greens, right? Go eat some lettuce, get some chlorophyll in your body. And also, because the great thing is when you eat natural greens is you're getting a very good quality of water with those vegetables like lettuce and celery and cucumber. They have chlorophyll and they have lots of minerals. You know, cucumber is one of the best things you can do for your body in terms of remineralizing. You get some organic cucumbers, so good for you. The water structure in those cucumbers is just perfect and has a great mineral balance, great energy, and also, you know, helpful things like chlorophyll, etc., enzymes, and all sorts of good things. So don't shortchange yourself on how you can use nature to support yourself going through the intensity of what our bodies are being subjected to, not just from the light codes coming in, which is lifting ourselves up, but from all of the bombardment of other vibrations that we are dealing with, including the physicality of toxin, but also, you know, the energetics of toxin, which are coming to us on various levels, whether it's coming to us through microwave radiation, radio wave radiation, audible radiation, like all of the shit that we're having to listen to, all of the dribble coming out of various medias, and including people we meet and conversations we overhear, and having to, you know, just be around people and their fear base. Don't forget the social interaction that occurs when we're near other people who have been listening to a whole heap of fear-based propaganda and now resonating that. That is a load on our body, and the more that we can help ourselves uplift and up-level, the better off we're going to be. Listening to high vibrational soundtracks, music, light language, or whatever else it is, you know, Tibetan bowls or, you know, etc., is really beneficial as well. I say getting out in the sun, good, of course, being sensible with how much sun exposure you give your body, especially if you're carrying layers of toxin within the skin, then you don't want to inflame that and create situations of, you know, potential discordance. But the sun is very healing, and the more that you can get out in it, the better off you're going to be. Try not to wear sunglasses too much so that you can get your body can measure the appropriate amount of UV light that you're being exposed to through your eyes. That's how your body knows how much UV is in the sun through your eyes, and then you adjust the protective chemicals in your skin. So if you're wearing sunglasses, you're going to get sunburnt and potentially sun damaged. Of course, when the sun is really bright and glary, you need to wear sunglasses to protect your eyes from that. But that's where sunglass use should begin and end, when it's glary and you need them, as opposed to all of the time because it's cool and it's comfortable. You know, we've just taken a lot of things that are beneficial and overused them. You know, antibiotics are beneficial for the appropriate thing, but we've overused them, and now we're getting them through just about everything. Well, a lot of things that we eat, right, have antibiotics, especially meat, you know, animal protein products come with a laden of antibiotics, and it's killing our microbiome in our gut, and then we're wondering why we're so sick. As well as, you know, the glyphosates and the other pesticides and herbicides and other things that we're subject to. Anyways, I don't want to go terribly far down that way, but we have to understand that, you know, 50 years ago, we could be quite healthy eating store produce. We're getting a lot of minerals and nutrients, phytonutrients, etc., through the vegetables that we were being given in our shops, in our grocery stores. That's not the case today. So we have to be a little bit more proactive in looking after ourselves and trying to get the highest quality fruit and vegetable and other products that we can, because a lot of it is extremely denurtured and potentially poisoned. The food, quote unquote, food products that are being delivered, anything that's coming in a package generally is not great. And I'm not saying that you should, eat nothing out of a packet, because that would be next to impossible, but really be mindful about what you're feeding your body physically, mentally, emotionally, energetically. It is beneficial. If you want to be comfortable in your body through this time of intense transformation, then you are going to have to invest some time and some money in looking after your health. That's pretty much where it's at. If you want to sort of move through unconsciously eating crap, then you're going to suffer, basically. In my opinion, unless you are spiritually more advanced than me and you can overcome all of that abuse through holding energetic processes to allow your body to lift out of the reality of the material world, which is also possible. I'm not saying that it's not possible, it is possible. But for most of us, a bit of both is beneficial, right? Look after your physical health by doing physical things, and also by doing spiritual and intentional things, energetic things. What else, friends? Anything else before we wrap this up? I'm very happy to answer any questions. I'll just make sure I haven't missed anything. Hey, Brother Rich, how are you? Jill said, the sea was so cold in Devon, could only go in ankle deep, but it was good. Yeah. And of course, depending on how deep the water and how quickly you can get in, I was watching a video because I've just got into this cold water idea. I was watching some Wim Hof, as you do. If you want to know about cold therapy, then he's a great advocate of it, and him swimming under the freaking ice. It's possible. It's definitely possible. With the right mindset and the right preparation, we can endure cold water very adequately in a human body. And it is good for us to do so. Awesome, Rich. Glad you were doing good and your family. Enjoying seeing your stuff. Hey, Brother Glenn. Well, friends, if there's no more questions and insights, there will be no more answers for now. Take good care of yourself. Do practical things to really look after your health and your comfort. It is important not to neglect your physical health and your physical comfort, but at the same time, don't get stressed trying to overcome all of the potential issues, because if you're trying to avoid every single toxin and compensate for every single lacking of our current food structure and all of the impacts we have on our physical health, then the fear is going to do more harm than any sort of options you are taking. 16 degrees seawater is absolutely fine, Jill. That's pretty normal for where I live. That's actually warm. It's when it gets under 9 degrees that you actually start feeling cold very quickly. Christina said, my mum grew up on a farm and she ate from the trees and the bushes, ate what the pigs ate, or what the cows ate, and then lived in ruins after the war. She's 93 and bloody fit. Just came through CPS, ascension symptom, I think. Food is important. Yeah, food is important. But, what's more important? Sorry, I tried to flick something away from my calendar and got dragged into my calendar. What's more important is not getting stressed about this stuff and not trying too hard, right? So invest an appropriate amount of time in looking after your health, but don't let it predominate everything that you're doing, and don't get angry about how hard it is now to look after our health, because that won't help you. Be philosophical, be relaxed, choose to remember that you are a being of light, having a human experience. Know that we can overcome all of this stuff, but at the same time, work in a balanced way with what's available to us. It's important for our health that we stay relaxed, right? But not staying amnesic or what's the right word? Lazy, really. You know, stay relaxed but not lazy. And there's a big difference between the two, right? Take action, do what you can, but do it in an empowered way that doesn't invoke stress, right? And this requires constant feedback, check in with yourself as to how tight you're getting around what you're trying to achieve, and how more relaxed and positively philosophical you're staying around these situations. You know, this is it. Because if we start looking at all of the potential problems and all of the manipulation that's going on with our food and the energy that we're being subjected to and the fucking, you know, propaganda that we're being subjected to, it's very easy to get angry and frustrated and stressed, and that's not going to help you. It's not going to help you. I've known people who have put so much effort into staying healthy and then they've dropped dead of a heart attack because all of the effort they were putting into staying healthy was coming from a fear basis, right? They were trying to avoid death by doing everything quote unquote right, everything that they were told to do to maintain health. And it wasn't healthy ultimately. It wasn't healthy because the ultimate foundation to your health is a relaxed, comfortable mindset, right? A positive attitude to life. We're here to live, not to avoid death. So live life, but do it in a way that is nurturing and kind to your body, right? This is it. It's not about total abuse and just eating whatever you feel like and just going, oh, it doesn't matter anyway. It does matter. But at the same time, it doesn't matter enough to get stressed about. That's the balance point, right? Moderation in all things, including moderation. Allow yourself to have, allow yourself to go off the rails from time to time without beating yourself up, right? Live life fully, but do it in a kind, compassionate and loving way for yourself. Jill wrote, I drove past Stonehenge 4 times last week and felt it helped me to think of standing tall through the hassles. So long as I don't turn to stone. Yeah, don't turn to stone. Okay, friends, much love. I'm going to call it quits there. I've done my half hour. Speak to you again soon, next week at least, if not before. Take it easy. Breathe deep. Did I mention breathing deep as well as having all the showers and eating good food? Breathe deep. It's the foundation, really, to your health, is to re-oxygenate your body as best that you can, to get your diaphragm moving so that it stimulates the vagus nerve and turns on the rest and digest response. Breathe deep and relax. Breathe deep, relax, and trust that the world is giving you exactly what is benefiting you, and you have choices how you then work with the situations that life has given you. But don't feel like a victim of it. Don't feel persecuted. Don't get overly angry, but at the same time, don't make yourself wrong for feeling angry and frustrated. Just work with it all, expand, and allow yourself to enjoy this experience and this opportunity. And remember that you are loved and supported in all ways, always. Relax and enjoy. Bye for now, friends. Bye-bye.